Hi, my name is Marco. I'm a former professional opera singer turned YouTuber. I love talking about video game music from an emotional perspective after a decade on the stage. Today we're checking out Widow, which I assume is a Black Widow spider boss, which hatred. I've not experienced Widow in-game. The music so far has been exceptional. Really good stuff written here by Christopher Larkin. And to my ear, after 2 or 3 tracks, certainly an improvement and a, well, not an improvement, but a fuller vision for what this can really be. So I'm excited to hear Widow in context. But before that, let's listen to it out of context. Here we go. So tempo, crazy, bravado, serious. The rolling of the strings, borderline horror. That's such like, especially the way that it kind of, the violins kind of slide into it and stuff. That's all very, very intimidating. It's very tense. So, oh wow. You hear the spidery stuff there. Let me just stop really quickly and just say that this has got reminiscence of, so Christopher Larkin with this soundtrack and with Hollow Knight, there is a bit of a Baroque influence, so there is some Bachian stuff. Now we also hear that with Lace. Can I just point out how incredible it is to hear this with a real, what sounds to me like a string ensemble? Absolutely terrific stuff. I want to point out the inherent tension and drama within the music, and we get that over in the violins right around here. It's elegance. Now, of course, I'm picturing a Black Widow spider, right? There's an elegance, but there's a tenacity, veracity, and danger within that. So we have poise. Now, Black Widow spiders are female, and they kill the males, and their venom is extremely poisonous to anybody that comes in contact with it. I mean, that the whole point is they inject the venom into their prey. They're deadly serious for even humans. I don't know if humans can still die from them if they don't get, treatment. Black Widow spiders are terrifying. They have that, that symbol on their back, of course. Really just a fascinating little creature. And it's amazing because through that danger and through that kind of disgusting quality about them, excuse me, I'm not a spider fan except for Spider-Man, there is an inherent feeling of disgust and elegance because of the way they look. They have that huge sack. They are tenacious and dangerous. And so there's a bit of push and pull in this, where predominantly the theme feels reflected on that boss. Oh, and I'm wearing a Spider-Man shirt. There is a danger laden within this where it's not really in Hornet's best interest to be fighting this character, right? Especially knowing that this is a boss theme. The theme is really about Widow, really about how tenacious and dangerous and seething and foaming at the mouth and terrifying and powerful she is. Right here is a prime example. Thrum, shum, shum. It's very strong, isn't it? Thrum, thrum, thrum. It's almost like that's when the something falls, or there's some sort of webbing that kind of thum, thum, thum. It's like a stab, or some sort of like, oh yeah, well watch this. And then boom, we get the spider web in our face or something. Ooh. Key change. See, and this is almost like a second set of move set, a different move set. That was a really smooth way to transition to the key change, by the way, by sliding up into the scale and then just pivoting and going a step further. And this is almost like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, and then taking off and really doubling down on the strength and the brutality and the danger. It's almost like the mask comes off and we see the widow for who she really is, right? Finally, it's like, get out of my space. You know what I mean? You hear the hits? Listen to that. So this right here is a prime example of a counter melody slash counter harmony. Someone on Twitter told me stop making up words. That is actually a real thing called a counter melody, and the counter melody here is being performed by the second. It sounds like a viola or certainly a lower violin. Can't really tell because I don't have it in front of me. But this essentially is moving in the same way, but ever so slightly in a lower range, and it kind of goes off and eventually veers off on its own, creating a new sense, a new dynamic of stress. There's some... Yeah, there are two different voices there. Oh yeah. So ultimately, it ends up coming across as elegant chaos, which is really, really interesting. There is poise, there is stature, there is femininity, there is elegance, there's I imagine a colonial sense of dignity and very poised, and maybe even a British accent and like a fencing thing almost. But then the mask comes off, and then we get the hunch. And then we get the decay, and then we get the poison seeping out of the mouth, and that's so we're still in our dress, we're still in our elegant garb, but yet now suddenly the gloves are off, and we see Widow for who she truly is, right? And that's a really interesting thing. What an incredible little piece. Hints of Vivaldi in there, especially, I believe, Summer. Really beautiful stuff, and terrific writing. I mean, gosh. Christopher Larkin, excuse me, we're not on personal terms. Christopher Larkin here really feels to be channeling the classics. And as a former professional opera singer, I can't help but be excited, because that means that even right now, 500,000 people are playing this and probably stuck on Widow because of some backtracking or some double hit nonsense, right? And they are just forced to listen to classical music. And it just makes me so happy. It makes me so happy that people are being forced into culture. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a ton. Bye.